2 of Pink Ambitions. We'll be going through the poem A Young Man's Thoughts Before June 16th, the tone, diction, imagery, and themes, and stay tuned till the end for quick exam tips. Okay, so A Young Man's Thoughts Before June 16th by Faisal Johannes. Okay, let's read the poem. Tomorrow I travel on a road that twines to the top of the hill. I take with me only the sweet memories of my youth. My heart aches for my mother, for Friday night with friends, around the table with the broad pledge of beer. I ask only for a sad song, sung by a woman with downturned eyes, and strummed by an old man with broken bow. Oh, sing my sad song for me, for my sunset is drenched with red. This poem is very sad. So this initially a bit of a background story here. So a young man's thoughts before June 16th. So in Soweto, I think in the 80s or the 90s at that time, around in the 80s or the 90s, the people of Soweto had protested. So it was all the scholars that were protesting against making Afrikaans the medium. So the medium was either in, I think, Xhosa or English. But because of apartheid, it wanted to change to an Afrikaans medium only. So June 16th, I think over thousands of scholars in Soweto protested, and many of them lost their lives. So this is a poem about that, basically. Okay, let's just go through some key things to remember in this poem. Always remember there's a lot of enjambment in this poem. So enjambment means, so say I started the poem on this line, right? Started there on line 1, and there's no full stop at the end. So I continue my sentence to line 2. Okay? And see, take this for example. I take with me only my sweet memories. Sweet memories is not on the one line, it's on 2 lines. So basically, when one line continues onto the other line with the same sentence, that's enjambment. Always remember that, that's very important for your exams. Okay, they talk about a woman with downturned eyes. So this is representing his mother, and an old man with broken brow. So this is representing his father. Also, this poem is very sad. Oh my gosh. Okay, diction. So diction is another word basically for the word word. So in the exams, when they ask you to comment on the diction, it literally just means comment on the words that are used in the poem. Okay, so Johannes uses simple, emotionally charged, negative, gruesome diction to show fear and sacrifice. Words of pain and loss. So here we are stating what the words are, what are the more or less the tone of the words, and then we are quoting those words, and then we are explaining those words. So let me just show you what I mean. So like here, state, state, state. This is literally what will give you your exam marks. And then let me just use a different color. Then we're quoting, quoting, quoting. See, we're quoting all this. This is in blue. We're quoting the words. And then we're explaining that. We're explaining what these words mean. So all of these will basically give you your marks. So say if they say comment on the diction. Okay, so comment on the diction that is being used. So then you would say this. Words of pain and loss. Words such as aches, sad, downturned, broken, drenched words. Domestic, personal words such as mother, friends, youth focuses on the human cost, not politics. Violent imagery words such as the words drenched with blood got drenched of beer, uses harsh B sounds to show past carefree life. No punctuation plus uppercase I creates a stem of consciousness, raw, uneducated, uncontrolled voices. It reflects flow of thoughts and lack of control. So if they say comment on the diction here, you're going to get 1 mark for all of these. For stating what type of words, then you're going to get another mark for everything that's in blue. Everything that's in blue, you're going to get another mark, and then you're going to get another mark for everything that's in green. So Marcia, you're going to get 4 marks altogether. Okay, so this will be 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, and then just stating it overall what it actually represents will get you another mark. And there you got your 4 marks. So simple, right? Okay, let's look at the tone. So always remember that when we discuss the tone, right? The word tone literally means the speaker's attitude, the poet's attitude, the author's attitude. So what is the author's or the poet's attitude in this poem? The poem is melancholical, mournful, nostalgic. So if you're wondering what the word melancholical means, so melancholical is basically an adjective. It's a feeling or expression, deep, pensive, and prolonged sadness or gloom. So that's the definition of the word melancholical. They're melancholically and sad. It reads like an elegy or dirge, a lament for those about to die. Phrases like a sad song, downturned eyes, broken bow sets it up like this. Yeah? So nostalgic and longing. He remembers sweet memories of my youth. Friday nights with friends. He knows he's leaving youth behind. So it's about this guy. It's not only, so we're talking about in general, but we're mostly referring to a boy, okay? So a boy is going to fight and he's around 12 years old. He's still a tween or a teen and he's going to protest and he might lose his life in this more, say, battle or war that he's going to fight during the apartheid. So now he's still so young and he's basically leaving his youth behind and he's going to do this dangerous task. Okay, acceptance. He shows no bitterness and accepts his impending fate. I is in lowercase again, suggests insignificance and resignation. Let's go on to imagery. Imagery is basically the picture being painted in your mind when you read this poem. So it's like your thoughts, your views about what the words are being read to you. So when the words like tomorrow I travel on a road, now you're obviously thinking a road, a journey, a life journey in more figurative terms. So journey, road image that winds to the top of the hill. Okay, life's journey, because life has a lot of twines and winds just to get to the top of the hill, and in this case the top of the hill is mostly referring to death or the end goal because he wants to change. he wants change of the apartheid regulations. So he's willing to even die for it. Okay, so this is a brave person. Funeral mourning imagery in lines 8 to 13. Okay, a sad song sung by a woman with downturned eyes and strummed by an old man with broken bow. He asks to be mourned. Okay, so this boy is asking for his parents or his family to mourn after he dies, because his death is not, uh, his life is not certain actually. Blood death imagery. My sunset is drenched in red. Sunset representing the end of a day, but in this context, it's representing an end of a life. Red represents blood or bloodshed of June 16th. It's an euphemism for violent death. If you're wondering what the word euphemism means, euphemism is basically an over exaggerated sentence or word. So, another example can be like you get that friend that will call you, say this friend called you twice, but when they speak to you, they'll say, "Oh my word, I called you 1,000 times, why didn't you pick up?" So that is euphemism, being extremely over exaggerated. Now let's go to the themes. There are many different themes in a poem or any literature you do. There are always many different themes. There's not just one or two. So the first one that we have in this poem is sacrifice and loss of youth. He will give up his youth, his mother, his friends. I take with me only my sweet memories, the memories of my youth. Shows that he's leaving his childhood behind. Also note that he is taking only his sweet memories behind because he is still a child and he has no possession. He's not working. He doesn't have his own house or his own car or his own wealth as yet because he is still a child. He's still dependent on his family. So he's only taking his sweet memories behind because it's the only thing that he possesses. The next theme is violence and brutality of apartheid. So this poem is foreshadowing the police killing. Okay, the poem is scattering comments on the apartheid regime. Humanity of resistance. It focuses on a young man's fear, family and emotions, not politics or slogans. It shows the human aspects of a freedom fighter. So this poem reflects on the emotional setback of apartheid, not the political or social structures and aspects of apartheid, but it shows the the real sadness and brutality of apartheid. Okay, so it shows full of emotions. Duty versus fear versus duty. Foreshadowing death. Remember, this poem was written after apartheid, but it was for someone going to fight in a protest during apartheid. Okay, so notice the few tenses that are being used in this poem. He knows he may die. The whole poem is his thoughts before the tragedy. Okay, then again, before. It's a day before he goes to fight. So, yeah. Anyways, let's go to this one exam tip that I have for you, very important. The poem is free verse, 13 lines with enjambment in every line. The lack of punctuation mirrors his anxious, disordered thoughts. Remember, I spoke to you about enjambment in the beginning? Yes, so enjambment is very important because it is free verse. Okay, so basically, this whole poem is just one big sentence, and it continues from this line to the next line to another line, basically. So So yes, enjambment is very important. Lack of punctuation. This represents his anxious, disordered thoughts. It's his thoughts. This meaning his thoughts are scattered all over the place because he is in emotional turmoil at this point because he doesn't know whether he's going to live to see the next day after the protest. Okay, so this is a young man's thoughts before June 16th explained. Please like for more videos and please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.